One of Maine's great annual events was held over the weekend, that celebration of winter turning to spring called Maine Maple Sunday.
Thousands of people turned out at the many maple producers to see the products made and sample some sweet treats. Our Don Kerrigan wanted to get there ahead of the crowd, so He visited a few days early and brought back a story with a bit of a surprise.
Wanted to get mine while the getting was good,
yes.
Right? I've been to a lot of sugar houses over the years and even have made it sometimes in my backyard. It's fascinating and fun. But for the people who are serious about maple and do it for at least for a partial living, it's also a lot of work. It's amazing, really. You take fire and sap from a tree, and you get something delicious.
We're taking water out of a substance that's coming from a tree, and we're thickening it.
Alan Greene loves making maple syrup.
The entire process is just a matter of removing the water, and what you get is syrup. And that fascinates some people, that there's still things out there that you can produce and make that come from nature that you're not adding anything to. It doesn't require anything other than, anybody can do this in their backyard.
And in a way, he does. Alan has been boiling syrup on this spot nearly his whole life.
Grew up with it. Grew up sleeping in the sugar house.
His father built the original sugar house in the early 1960s, back when they collected sap in buckets. Nowadays, like most serious maple producers, they collect the sap through a network of pipelines. How many miles do you have?
A lot.
Taking it straight from the tree and using vacuum pressure to help the sap flow more smoothly.
The amount of science involved.
The basics of this are the same as ever. It takes 30 to 40 gallons of sap to produce a gallon of syrup. But look at this. The sap that collects in the big tank is mostly water, but then it gets pumped through a reverse osmosis machine, which removes a tremendous amount of that water, meaning less to be boiled away.
Because it's run through a reverse osmosis first, we're starting with something more than what came out of the tree. We're already at 10%, say. So this is making, depending on the day, we can make 5, 7, sometimes 8 gallons an hour of syrup coming through the evaporator.
Without reverse osmosis, he says they could only get about 1 gallon per hour.
A double layer.
So technology saves time, labor, and firewood, and helps control quality. But innovation aside,
And this top filter.
Greene Maple Farm is still very much a family farm. His aunt and uncle come over to help with the boiling. Alan's wife, Valerie, handles the retail and product side.
And there's a maple salsa and there's a spicy maple salsa, so there's 2 versions of it. So.
And are there ideas spinning around for other products?
Maybe some barbecue sauce. I make a maple sloppy joe that my husband keeps telling me I need to bottle that.
And niece Kira
I love it, every piece of it.
is the next generation, a college student studying business.
That makes me wonder,
Yeah,
are you planning to be the next generation here?
I'd like to. I mean, I'm learning as much as I can.
They were all bracing for the crowds on Maple Weekend, but those visitors might not have gotten the chance to see syrup making if it weren't for Alan's mom, Loretta.
And Maine Maple Sunday, well, that is such a busy weekend.
Loretta says she served a pancake to a visiting newspaper reporter some 45 years ago, which inspired Maine Maple Sunday.
The next morning, people started coming, and they were like, no, the first ones didn't say anything. And then somebody said, so it said in the paper that you serve pancakes every Sunday morning. And my husband said, really? Yeah, we've got the article out in the car.
So she began cooking, and a year or two later, husband Ted told the Maine Maple Producers Association they should all open one day a year to welcome the visitors, like he and Loretta did. Maine Maple Sunday was born. This year, the crowds got to see the brand new sugar house, learn about some of the science, and how unpredictable winters have become a real problem for maple producers. But the essence of this place, the work they do, and the sweet bounty they produce from nature, those are unchanged. And that is why the people come.
This time of year, what else are you going to do? And that's why I think Maine Maple Sunday has been so popular, is that a lot of people look at it as we made it through the winter. This is the first sign of spring. And maybe it's why this family has been loving this ritual for so long.
Yeah, if you're going to pick a rite of spring, that's a pretty nice one to have, right? Alan says they had record crowds and record sales on Maine Maple Weekend. He is also president of the Maine Maple Producers Association and says that producers around the state are concerned right now because of the uncertainty created by the threat of tariffs on Canada. Quebec is the largest producer of maple syrup in the world. And Canadians even come across into Maine legally from Quebec and produce the largest share of Maine maple syrup.
Oh, wow.
It's a very complex relationship, and nobody knows how tariffs, if they are imposed, will affect what goes on.
Yeah, and to the product itself, something really special about this weekend, if you haven't been out to one of these sugar houses, you can get obviously a jug anywhere in a Hannaford, and it's delicious. Having a sip fresh off the evaporator, it's like an entirely different product.
It's so good.
It is.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
So
and
good.
makes you want it.
Exactly.
Drink it right then.
We won't judge you if you want to do that, Don.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.